is a deck which this card can be used. And if you've paid attention to the video so far, this card, YouTube, we're back with another video. Today we've got a tier list. Today we'll be doing hand traps for Duelist Nexus format. It's been 1 week since we've seen the launch of the set, and we have now a better idea of what top decks are and what the hand traps should be played. As we're in more of a combo based format, you want to use hand traps so you just don't auto lose on turn 1. So let's get started. Our categories are as simple. We have main deck staple. These are essentially the best options. You want to play them in almost every deck. Main or side. Essentially this category means if you're not playing these cards in the main deck, you probably need to play them in the side. Side deck only. They're good, just not good enough to main. You don't have them for the whole meta, but they have coverage against the majority of the meta. Matchup specific. These are more specifically targeted hand traps for specific matchups. And then the don't play category. As always, these cards just do not play. So let's get started. We'll start with the main deck staple category. Let's see. First up, Droll. This is a main deck staple. Almost every deck in the format is comboing and adding cards consistently to their hand. Droll can sometimes end a turn. It's good versus Purely. It's good versus the new Manadium deck. It's okay versus Kashtira. And those are some of the decks we're seeing just as the best decks of the format. It's also good versus a lot of Rogue and Tier 2 decks, so Droll should be absolutely a stable card. Next, where is it? Where is Ash Blossom? No surprise, Ash Blossom is the most generic hand trap, therefore it is always going to be a staple. As long as Branded's around, we always want to have that Ash Blossom for the Branded fusions, as well as Ash just being generically good against everything. Infinite Impermanence. This card is also a staple. It doesn't trigger things like Triple Tactics Talents and Triple Tactics Thrust. It is 1-to-1 effect negation, but it can also be used during your own turn. So why not? It's very good. It negates effects. That's about what it does. And then Shifter. Shifter is in an interesting spot. If your deck can play Shifter, it is absolutely a main deck staple. However, not every deck can play Shifter. So yeah, if your deck can play it, it's great. Next we got, okay, so those are the main deck staples. Now let's go to other cards. Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries is a matchup specific card. So if you're playing, say, Purely, you could have it in the side for the Noir or the Happiness. If you're playing something like Vanadium, maybe you could use it so your opponent cannot make Calamities or Baron or whatever else you might want to hit. Kashtira, you could side it for the Shangri-Ira. Adventure Synchron, you could do it for the Junk Speeder. Again, Dragon Link, it's a card which has very specific matchups. But again, probably not the best option to side. There are better decks. Oh, sorry, there are better options for most decks. Bestials. If you're playing Dragon Link, you're obviously going to main them. Outside of Dragon Link, though, almost any deck can, in theory, main or side Bestials. They won't be a staple, but they're definitely main or side deck staples. So yeah, whatever you want to do. Contact C is side deck only. It has some niche interactions and applications. I personally wouldn't want to use it. However, it's fine versus some matchups. And it's not just specific to one deck. It's actually got a few options you can use it for. Yeah, I wouldn't play it. It's okay, but what it does... I mean, Book of Moon is in the format. Book of Eclipse is in the format. They're all counter plays to this card. So again, side deck only. Very specific matchups. But it has a few matchups you can cover. Let's see. DD Crow, I would put it as more matchup specific. It's just a worse version of the Bestials. Again, it's not terrible. You could tech it against something like Purely when they activate Pure Lily effect. Banish the card from grave. They don't summon a monster. Ghost Mourner. No, this is Spooky Dogwood. This card is so-so. It can help you win in time. I probably wouldn't play it though. Ghost Ogre. This card I've been testing out a bit myself. It's a main or side deck option. It's got some good interactions, like it's very good versus Purely. When they activate My Friend, you can use that card unless they've chained Happiness. You could use it against one of the Purely monsters when they activate their effects to try and summon. So it's got some cool interactions, main or side. Valor is quite similar. It's main or side. It's not better than, say, Imperm, but if you want more hand traps, Valor is definitely an option. And unlike most hand traps that are printed in the modern era, Effect Valor is not a hard once per turn. So if you have 2 Effect Valors, you can use them both. Lancia really is just a very matchup specific card, like Cached Hera. Or maybe if you're scared of evenly matched, you could side Lancia. I personally wouldn't. Retaliating Sea, again, is that same one. It's matchup specific. You'd have to use it against something like Branded or Purely. Anything that really relies on special summoning monsters with spell cards. But there's just, as I said, better options. Phantasme, side deck only. It's not bad if you're planning on playing versus a lot of Link decks in the format. So if you're playing against Dragon Link, which is a very Link heavy deck, or if you're playing against something like I don't know, maybe against Altergeist if you want to. I know that's probably a bad example, but yeah, there's not a lot of Link decks right now, so again, it's really meta specific, I should say, but it's okay to side. Ghost Bell, main or side. I guess I can put all of them in. Ghost Bell and Ghost Mourner, these are really fine main or side. They all have multiple applications. I'd say Mourner might actually be a little bit better than Valor in some instances, because Mourner is not phase dependent. So you can technically use Mourner at any point in the game, on your turn or your opponent's turn, just whenever they summon a monster. Something here, so Herald of Orange Light is a don't play. However, there is a deck which this card can be used. And if you've paid attention to the video so far, this card can be used in Purely as a tech card. All the Purely monsters are fairies, and you can add cards like Kurakari Div Incarnate, which is a level 1 fairy. Thus, Herald of Orange Light can pseudo function as extra copies of Called by the Grave to make sure you don't get drolled. So if you guys paid attention to the video so far, you just got that secret tech. No Material, just don't play. It's bad. It's designed for a previous master rule, which is not applicable anymore. Same with Skullmeister. It's really just not good. There's no real graveyard-oriented effects, and if there is, Bestials are better. Chaos Hunter. Again, matchup specific. It's okay versus Cached Hera, but not great versus everything else. Token Collector. This card here, if you expect to play a lot of the Adventure Synchron-based decks, this card's actually quite good. The Adventure Engine is coming back. If you play against some Sword Soul, it's good. There's anything where tokens are primary, Token Collector is really good. But again, it's matchup specific. It represents a small portion of the meta. Nibiru. Everyone's playing into Nibiru these days, and Nibiru is just excellent. It clears the board. There's very little play around unless you're willing to reduce the power of your board. It can also be used as a defensive option as well. So yeah, Nibiru is just a great main or side option. There's a reason everyone says summon 4. Can you do your combo in summon 4? Or can you set up a negate in under 5 summons? Nibiru is the reason. Iris Sword Soul, just no play. Flying Sea, again, it's the same as No Material. It's designed for an era of Yu-Gi-Oh that no longer exists. So just don't play it. If you have some more light-based decks that rely on the graveyard, Cycle Reader could be useful, but Cycle Reader is just not very good. Saravis is another one. I would just say no play. Maybe it could be a really specific tech option against Book of Moon, but again, if you're going that far, there's probably better options like a Forbidden Lance. And then the Cyframes, RIP to my boy Gamma. They're just not playable. I wouldn't play these in anything. Maybe if you're using extra, Gamma is fine. If you're playing if you're playing Epsilon and Delta in your side, then Gamma becomes a tier 1. But otherwise, it just belongs down here with the rest of them. So yeah, that's really it for the hand traps. Not much to say, but hand traps are back. You need to have these, otherwise you're going to lose to combo decks. But guys, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time. Peace.